Hey everybody, been doing some designing and thought I'd share some of the new creations that I've been working on. This first one is a pretty simple basic design of a dangle earring. As you can see, I've laid out the supplies, pretty simple. You've got your hook earrings, just a simple front, easy connect back. You also have these cute little charms. They have a crystal in them. They're not backed, so therefore they're translucent all the way through. They're cute little charms. I really like them. The beads I've chosen are a beautiful 8mm electroplated faceted Rondelle bead. These are so gorgeous, the facets in them, and you'll see at the end when we go through this what they actually look like when they reflect against the light. Then I also chose some 8mm brass Rondelle spacer beads that have the little rhinestones in them, if you can see. And they spin around and reflect really nicely in a silver color. Everything on this project today is silver. Then we have eye pins. The eye pins are 24mm eye pins. And then we have 4 5mm 18 gauge, which is 1mm thickness, brass plated jump rings. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move the supplies for one pair out, because we're going to first just make one simple pair, or one earring. So as you can see, each earring takes one charm, one earring hook, 3 of the gorgeous beads, 2 of the rhinestone spacer beads, 1 eye pin, and 2 of the brass jump rings. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our eye pin. The basic pattern is very simple. Your rondelle bead, then your spacer, your rondelle, your spacer, and then your rondelle. Now, like I said, these are 8mm. One thing about beads when you buy them faceted is that the measurements are actually from point to point, the furthest point. So they are kind of deceiving to the eye when you look at them. And then if you hold them next to an 8mm, say a glass bead, they'll almost look smaller. But that's because of the facets on them. So that from point to point, they're 8. These are 4mm thickness. These small rondelle or spacer beads here, those are 3mm. But as you can see, they are very deceiving when you look at them, but they always pair well together. They give you a little bit of not such a straight edge, a little variegation in there, which is really nice. So next what we're going to do is we're going to make our eye hole. Now I have been doing this for a very, very long time and have still not perfected the eye hole. Now I've got my pliers. These are your round nose pliers to make your eye pins. Grab onto it. I always bend it a little bit towards me. Whoops, excuse me. Before I actually start to form my eye pin. And as you can see, there'll still be slight crookedness to it, but you can always work that out in later details as you fine-tune your project. But once that's done, now you have your beads. They spin gorgeously. Now, when you're putting this on an earring, you need to make sure between your connectors and whatever piece you're attaching to, the directions that they flow. So, if I'm holding my earring like this and I'm attaching a jump ring, then my eye pin needs to be this way when I attach. So, if my eye pin attaches here, then down here, I'm going to attach a charm, which will need the eye pin in the exact same direction because of the jump ring. So on these, I just take my small pliers and I grab one side, and then I take my other small pliers and I grab it, and I make sure that they're opposite of each other. So one's going up and one's going flat. Then that will make your eye pin one direction and the other direction. This is very important when making jewelry, because you can get all the way through it and at the end your charm hangs sideways, or your front pieces don't hang right because they're not lined up with the flow of your jewelry. So now I'm going to take a 5mm jump ring. Bear with me here. Sometimes these will slip, and I am very good at slipping. And I'm going to attach my charm. Now, nice about these charms is they are double-sided, so you really don't have to make sure which side is facing you when you place the charm on. And I'm going to put the charm on, and then I'm going to put my jump ring on, or my eye pin on, and then I'm going to run those together. And what I try and do is make them as flush as possible. This is where I get slippage because I hold so tight and then it'll slip. But I want to make sure when I run my finger over that I have really good flush. You don't want to pry on your jump ring too much, because if you do, you'll start to get nose prints from your pliers. And if you're dealing with brass, it's a little softer, and so you may run into, you'll have some gouges. And then I just try and make sure that that's at the back, so when you have your front, you can see that. We'll go ahead and lay that down, and then we're going to go to the next step. Now, these right here are nice because you can actually bend these back and forth. I'm not a big fan of these because they can easily come undone, but we'll go ahead and leave it like that because, well, I'm going to go ahead and close it because trying to finagle everything back in there can be kind of difficult to do once that jump ring is on. So I'm going to tighten that down. Now I've got that tightened down. Now we're going to go ahead and take our jump ring, and we're going to open that up. Now, because we're double-sided, we don't have to ensure that we slide our jump ring and our hook on exactly in the same direction so that the hang is right. So I'm going to put my, whoops, see, I drop them all the time. Okay, there we go. There's that dangle. There's our earring on. And then we're just going to be real careful with the needle nose. And just get up in there and twist that so that it runs as flush as possible. Tighten that down. Then we're gonna open this up just like that. And as you can see, now you can see the flow of the eye pins with your jump rings, and you have a full straight flow. So that right there, just really simple, not too difficult. It's a kind of a basic design. It's great for beginners because you get to work a lot with opening and closing your jump rings, as well as attaching things to your eye pins, as well as creating your own eye pin head on it to attach to jump rings or other links or your hooks or however you're attaching lobster clasps, so it may be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this little stuff out of here, and then I'm going to pull the old swap to the second earring so that you can see there's the set. Now, as you can see, like I was saying, the color variegations. So if I put these in my hand and I show these under the light, they are just beautiful. And the nice thing is that when you're making earrings like this, as you go, you may make this and go, you know what, I really like that style, but the dangle's too much. I'll do another video showing examples of these, where instead of an eye pin, you use a head pin, and then you create just your small dainty dangle. So that's it right there, and I've got links below to the beads to our website. Our bead store is $1 for all of our supplies. We're geared towards the DIY beader, so we don't sell in bulk or wholesale, but we do offer absolutely gorgeous, unique, hand-selected beads. But the links for these beads will be in the description below, and I hope you subscribe. We're going to be uploading a whole bunch of more video tutorials, and thanks so much for watching.